Hello everyone, welcome back to another Go Magic video. Today I found a really cool game between KeJie and Park Junghwan that happened really not long ago, like a week ago. So KeJie is playing as black in this game. At this point in the game, KeJie is fairly behind because of the mistakes he made in the center. And at this point, white is just winning by points. The only uncertain area is absolutely this top right corner, which looks very dead for black, actually, just because of how thick white is. The next move, KeJie decides to go for this Kosumi, go for the final fight, that is to struggle to lift the corner. White connect, this is an absolute sente. If black lifts himself, the next move actually gonna kill black's group over here. White has 4 liberties and black has 3, so black cannot allow that to happen, so black needs to respond with the connection move. To make sure that white is killed, white now peeps in directly at 2-3. So first let's look at a couple variations, such as this clamp. Usually that's a good move, but definitely not in our case because black can counter clamp at 2-2. When you capture, black Ataris, and when you take, black extends into the corner, and then black is a clean alive because the extending at T15 is a sente. Some other way of thinking about life and death is to squeeze from the outside, but this is also not working because black can extend on the first line when you connect over here. Black plays a tiger's mouth, and that's actually clean alive for black as well. Even when black plays this. This is likely going to be a ko going on for for black. So squeezing from the outside, clamping, those are not great ideas. The correct idea is to take the vital point away from our opponent, and that's what Park played in the actual game. KeJie extends, make use of the sente, and then white connects. So at this point, if black attaches the 2-2 trying to take the vital point, white's gonna push and then push at here. If black blocks the connection, he has to. White can just follow up with a bunch of Ataris and then kill the group here. Of course, if black connects, white goes back, that's just game over. So the attach at 2-2 is something that black really wants to play but cannot. If black plays this one, white's gonna squeeze. When black connects, white follows up with another squeeze, taking the liberties away from black, and then squeeze over here, and then block at 1-3. This is also a winning liberty fight for white. If black follows up, white blocks. When black attaches, white only has 2 liberties, but black only has 1 right now. So that's also not working for black. That's why in the actual game, KeJie had to block. When white extends down, there are 2 variations, but only one really works for black. This extending at 1-4 is a very simple variation that does not work for black. White can squeeze at 2-3. When black connects, white can squeeze over here. All these are forcing moves, and then white extends at T17. This is an eye kills no eye. So if black turns, white is gonna block. But when black follows up, white can now Atari from the outside, and that's 2 liberties versus 1. That's why in the actual game, it's very easy for both players to read out these. KeJie decide to block this way, and that's the most resilient variation. So at this point, if white just thinks, hey, let me take the vital point away like this, this would be actually a huge blunder for white. This is the only thing probably KeJie was hoping for. So if you play this, black's gonna follow up by directly attaching at 1-2. This is a very nice Tsuji. I think this shape is a very common life and death shape that you can probably memorize for your for your knowledge, and you probably use that in your games. So when black attaches here, this is actually a clean alive for black. White squeeze from outside. Black is going to play here. White is forced to play here. So if you play anything else, when black pulls back, we can tell this is a life for black. So white has to turn. Black follows up, white follows up, black follows up. And actually, there's no eye kills no eye. So there's no eye kills no eye. So there's, usually the eye kills no eye, but this is not the case because black has two outside liberties, and then inside it's a very alive shape. You follow up, I can play here. You peep in, I can connect. Black is gonna have two eyes. But if Park actually extends at 1-2, that would be kind of ridiculous, right? Because Park is very well known for his life and death knowledge. Here, there are two main variations that white can actually play. The 1-4 actually works as well for white, although he did not play that. If white plays here, black cannot follow up by playing this because white can now turn at 1-2, and this is gonna actually kill black. So if you play here, white can play the square, and then black is dead. So the only move is the same move, that is for black to attach at T18. If white extend down, black is gonna block, and we're back to square one. We're back to a clean alive for black. That's something I just talked about. White's only move is to crawl, and then black is going to throw in to fight this ko. So if white connects, black can just attack from behind, and this is a ko for life. So that is possible. White could have played like that. But actually Park has chosen a better variation, that is to turn at T18. This is obviously giving black a lot more headache, to figure out how to live. So let's say, for example, if black hanes, white can hane from behind. That's back to the dead shape. So if black extend at 1-4, white can also extend to make an eye. When black throws in, white can squeeze over here, forcing black to connect and then make two eyes, and black is dead. But if black fills in like this, white can play the T17. So there's no point in fighting this liberty fight out, because even if black wins, and that black actually wins, when you happily takes the 5 stones away, white throws in back again, and then black is dead. This is a very famous dead shape. So when white extends, that basically is a death sentence for black's group. In the actual game, KeJie figured out a very beautiful move, that is to throw in first. This is a very nice Tsuji. So let's see how white needs to respond to this. If white squeezes here, black's gonna connect, and then when white takes, black's gonna hane. And this is going to be a clean alive for black, and that's game over for white. So white cannot squeeze on the second line. Well, can white take? Yeah, he can definitely take the stone, but black is going to Atari from behind. If white wants to avoid the ko, he needs to connect. But this is exactly the trap that KeJie is setting up, because now black has a Tsuji, that is the turn at 1-4. The next move, black is going to, play this move. So let's say black was allowed to play this. Then black already has an eye here. So although this is a dead shape, black has an eye here. There's another eye, so black's a clean alive. The only way for white to resist is to play here, but then black can follow up from Ataring from behind. This is actually interesting because when white squeezes from the outside and then black takes, there still seems to be a little bit of problem. So white can still peep in like this, right? So, but the problem with this is that black can play the 2-2. When white goes in, this is already a clean alive for black actually. So even if you fill in all the liberties at some point, it doesn't matter, and you can, black cannot fill in obviously. But then if white takes, black does not need to respond. You play another move. I can allow you to connect, right? There's no problem. This is a seki. The only way is for you to go in like this and then fight this kill. But that's just way too tiring for white, basically. This should be actually called the 10,000 year ko for the terminology. So that doesn't work for white, right? This variation does not work for white. That's why in the actual game, after this Tsuji, Park decided to hane at the 1-4. So at this point, this already becomes a ko, but it's a two-step ko for white, meaning that this is a more tiring ko for white. Black follows up by making this ko happen, and then white decides to play somewhere else. The reason Park can play somewhere else is because there's no way for black to live in one move. If you connect, you automatically died. If you Atari from behind, white can actually capture, and then that threatens to connect here, making a dead shape for black. So they're gonna be fighting over this ko. In the actual game, KeJie decided to create some ko threats first. The problem with KeJie is that he does not have ko threats at this point. White is just way too thick everywhere. On the contrary, black has tons of ko threats. There's a Atari here. There's a hane at N2. There are a couple moves to play to threaten this group because they're in liberty fights. So at this point, it's kind of hopeless for KeJie. So in the actual game, KeJie decided to struggle and block over here. This is also a way to start a ko. If a white does not pay attention, black's not going to connect. Rather, black's going to Atari from behind. When white captures, black can follow up with 1-1. And this is not a ko. This is a clean alive because white cannot connect at T17. So that's also a way to start the ko. In the actual game, which variation am I at right now? Right, so black blocks over here, white takes, and then black hanes, white responds, black takes back, white runs. This is a ko threat. Let's say if black follows up with this, white's gonna turn here. So this dragon is actually dead because there's no way to capture these three guys anymore. In the actual game, black connects, white takes back, black kosumis, and then white pretty much answers everything that KeJie does. Black takes back and white connect. So even this connecting is a ko threat. If black lives the corner, white now has a Tsuji, that is to Atari. Black connects or it extends. If black blocks, white has a throw in, forcing black to capture and then attach at a6, and the corner is just dead. If black connects, white can turn here. Black needs to follow up by killing the 3 stones, and then white can attach at a6. When black captures, white throws in back again, and the corner is dead. That's why in the actual game, KeJie had to respond by connecting at b1. White takes back. So at this point, yeah, I think it was at, I actually created some more variations for myself, but I think it's somewhere at this point that, you know, when white takes back, that KeJie resigned. So the extra variations just illustrate that this is a hopeless game because of how many code threads that, you know, that white has. There's a lot of code threads over here. There's Hane and N2 as a code thread. There's a bunch more following the N2 in this local area, and there's just absolutely no way for black to win this ko. The corner is pretty much dead. In the meantime, KeJie probably just made these 2 guys suicide as well. So overall, this is a hopeless game of KeJie. So he resigned at this point, and Park won the game. So what I found really interesting about this game is that we get to see a very interesting life and death problem. Although it didn't matter for the win and loss, to see such a, you know, pure life and death problem in a professional game is quite interesting. Most professional games, life and death problems involves the outside, involves sacrifice, trades and judgment and everything. But here, this is a pure life and death problem that is actually, I'd say, quite difficult for amateur players. So very interesting local area variations to put in my Go Magic. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below the video. And thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.